I just think that we're living in a time that's so distorted, that's such a distraction. There's so many reflections of distortion all around us that we've normalized. And if we're not careful, we can get lulled into this false sense of knowing that is really aligned with the distortion and not with our own truth. And we can start to believe that we are the reflection of the distortion that we are seeing in relation to the rest of the society around us. And that prevents us from actually bringing forward what we've come here to share, because our belief in that distortion, that reflection of that distortion, is really, there is a quote by James Baldwin. I'll never be able to remember it now, but he was talking about, for me as Skajinui Apit, as an Indigenous woman, this really resonated, right? Because there's so many stereotypical images of Indigenous women out there. There's all of the over sexualized costumes and, the bridge women who bridged between both cultures, which are all illusory stories. That there's all of this imagery of who we can be, who we're supposed to be, what we're supposed to look like. And I'm just getting over a cold, so I have this cough, so I apologize for coughing a lot.
No worries.
But how do I find who I am beyond all of those images that are being reflected back to me? And I think that's the great challenge for our time when we're living in such a distortion that has been so normalized across sectors. And one of the things that causes us difficulty is that, there's a part of us that knows that it's not true. There's a part of us that knows that the whole thing is just a complete fabrication, that it's an illusion, that it's an illusion that is serving some, harming most. And I was at this event one time where one of the women that was speaking at this environmental conference that I was speaking at said, why are we collectively building a world that none of us would individually want to live in? And it's the same with these types of illusions. Why are we allowing ourselves to be a reflection of a collectivity that's destroying our capacity to continue to exist? And what do we have within us? Because we are an expression of we're an expression of this breath of life. And life wants to perpetuate itself. Right? There's this desire for continuation that's expressed within us, as within our beings, as being part of that long breath of life. And we have engaged in activities as a collective whole that are attached to destruction and to the ending of the opportunity to live in this form. And so how are we out of alignment with that? We're out of alignment with that by being in alignment with the distortion. And so when we start to think about how do we really find our purpose, how do we find the guidance for discovering what that purpose is, it all lives deep within that space in between that I talked about at the beginning, beyond the illusion, right? And that space in between that we've been separated from, as I said, that our sacred societies are our Medewalan societies. That's that spiritual space in between. We're seeing the emergence of that into the mainstream now by the breaking down of binary thinking. And so as we're moving into, an acceptance of multiple ways of being in expression in the world, including these ways of expression that are non-binary. One of the things, the class that I teach on Tuesdays and Thursdays, is a class about gender and stereotype in Native American culture. And so when we're thinking about all of the different ways that we have limited our ways of seeing and being in the world, it's no wonder that we've really created some short-sighted realities that are a threat to our long-term existence. So now we're in a time of expanding our minds, expanding our ways of seeing and being in the world that are going to give us the opportunity to open up to more creative intelligence and to be able to find within us and in those coming in the solutions that we're carrying into this time with us on purpose. We're not here accidentally. We are here on purpose. And so, how do we stay in alignment with that purpose? And that's only by finding, as I said in the book, our own creation song and bringing that expression of that forward.